I guess, honestly, this whole year really hasn't been Horseheads' year. And I kind of knew that they weren't going to be able to repeat all the success they had a year ago. But I didn't think last night's game would wind up being like it was. Because Horseheads lost to Elmira 26-50, as in 5-0. Not good. I'm going to have to be honest here. This will be the last Blue Hammer Award I give out for this year. Mainly because here's the thing, Horseheads has to go back to Vestal to play for the sectional playoffs. And the last time they went there, they lost. It's not really looking good for Horseheads. Let's just put it that way. Plus, even if I was able to go to the game, one, again, it's all the way in Vestal, which is a bit of a drive for me. And second of all, I can't go anyway. I have a wedding to go to next week. I will most likely still be in the air as the game is going on. So that's to give you a brief rundown of how my week next Friday, my day next Friday is gonna go. But a few good things happened. I still got to spend some time with my dad. We watched the game together. We went to Elbow Room for dinner, and more importantly, I got to check out Elmira's new field, which is very nice. I mean, it's not Horseheads or Trinity Pauling, but I'm impressed. Very nice. I like it. So, regarding the last Blue Hammer Award for the year, you know what? Honestly, the team went through a lot of adversity, considering that, they're trying. I mean, full disclosure, I'm giving this award to the entire team because they earned it. I really think that in spite of everything, they still fought to the bitter end. They never gave up. And that actually builds a lot more character than just simply winning. Winning is just, nice to do. So, yeah. And again, if it makes you feel any better, my other alma mater, Trinity Pauling, isn't really doing that well either. It's pretty, not a good year for both of my old schools, huh? Oh well. It is what it is. There's always next year. Hopefully the students that are going to be seniors next year took the experience of this year and maybe, and motivate them. I mean, to be honest, that's what I try to do. Again, I really was never that good at football, but at least I understood the mechanics behind, all the intangibles, the hard work, the building of character, the conditioning, the motivation to get better. And football at least instilled that in me. And that's something I could never take away from it. It's one of the reasons why I love the sport now. So, to the Horseheads Blue Raiders, this was a good year for you. I'll be praying that you guys win next week at Vestal. But if that's not the case, just know that, for everything that happened, I thought you guys were pretty good. And that's really all, and as Forrest Gump would say, that's really all I have to say about that. Although if you are wondering, my low is the fact that, Horseheads lost. But again, my high is I got to spend the evening with my dad. And, we got to go to Elbow Room for dinner. It's really unfortunate, too, because, full disclosure, this weekend is actually my parents' 39th wedding anniversary. And I actually have a card ready to give them. Because listen, really all I'm supposed to do is give them a card to acknowledge that, I remembered. I really don't, to be honest, here's the thing. I never felt like I really had to give them anything outside of a card. At the very end of the day, my parents are celebrating each other. They need to get themselves something. Me, on the other hand, just giving them a card, that's, it's the right thing to do. I've been giving them a card for, for a couple of years now. And actually, funny story, when I got my grandparents their 70th wedding anniversary card, that's when I got the anniversary card for my parents. So, to my mom and my dad, happy 39 years. I love you both. Let's be honest, I know you guys never watch this, but, on the very slim chance you do, just remember that, I remembered, it was on this day, 39 years ago, we got married. Then you were in for a ride, I guess. And here's the thing. I wanted to give them the card last night because my mom was working today. She'll be back at like 8 o'clock tonight later. But, it's still an entire day that they're not together. My mom is off tomorrow, I guess. So maybe we'll celebrate then. But, today would have been the day to do it. I don't know. But, yeah. October 29th, that's my parents' wedding anniversary. Pretty cool, huh? So, actually, that's my act of kindness. The fact that I acknowledge that's the wedding anniversary and I got them a card, that's my act of kindness. So, good morning and happy Saturday, everyone. And I got back early from the game and dinner and stuff. And there was a movie that came out that I actually had wanted to see because I had heard about. And a bit of backstory. I grew up in the 90s, as you all know. And it was during the 90s when Disney had its major renaissance. You had The Little Mermaid, even though that was 1989. Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, and such. One movie that technically does fall under the Disney banner, but it's not technically considered part of Disney's animated canon, is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, that actually is a MoReas, or thoughts on video I should do at some point, but that's not what we're here to talk about. And if you don't know what Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas is, well, for starters, I highly recommend you watch that. But, again, I'll be nice. Basically, that movie was meant to invoke the stop-motion animated movies of yore, specifically that of Rankin Bass, who I believe either Rankin or Bass just recently passed away, so my condolences. And since then, Nightmare Before Christmas has gotten a huge cult following. Like, everywhere you look, you're gonna, especially around Halloween, you're gonna find decorations for that movie everywhere. So, maybe someday I'll do a movie on Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. But until then, I'll just stop here because I need to talk about the movie in question that I saw last night. Now, that movie was directed by Henry Selick. Although rumor has it that Tim Burton did direct a few key scenes. Although there's no information that confirms this. And Henry Selick later went on to, I think he might have produced Laika. Hold on a second. Let me, hold on. Okay. Okay. I thought he went on to produce the studio production Laika, but he didn't. However, he did direct Laika's first movie, which was Coraline. But basically, if you know one thing about Henry Selick, it's that he's been known to be like the guy when it comes to stop motion animation. Okay, there we go. I thought I should quickly look that up real fast. And, oh. Hold on a second. Okay. So, he actually directed this movie that came out on Netflix last night called Wendell and Wild. And it was actually in collaboration with Jordan Peele, who, I mean, let's be honest, at this point, everyone knows who Jordan Peele is. You know, in Key and Peele on Comedy Central, hello. Although, before I get into the movie, I gotta say, I actually didn't really think, back then, I didn't think that Key and Peele were that funny back then. I mean, that was just me being jaded because, you know, I grew up in the 90s. I had the Chappelle Show. I knew how things were supposed to be. But then again, I was too stupid to see the forest for the trees. Key and Peele are awesome. Enough said. So, and Key and Peele have done many collaborations together in the realm of comedy. But Jordan Peele, obviously of Key and Peele, has just become a real master of horror in his own right. Directing movies like Us, Get Out. Recently, he just directed Nope. So, this is a guy who clearly knows his horror. And it shows. So, you have Henry Selick, who is a veritable master at stop-motion animation. And you have Jordan Peele, who I just said has become a veritable master of horror in his own right. And you put them together. You get Wendell and Wild. And it definitely lives up to that last part because in terms of just the sheer magnitude of how many times that the scenes they made in this movie happened and I couldn't wrap my head around, that was wild. I mean, if you don't know how stop motion works, let's say I take this hammer real fast. It starts right here. And I take a photo of this, and 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 this. I know this is tedious, but hold on. And this, and this, and this, and this. And if I were to play that out one shot, it'd look like this. That's what stop motion is. Needless to say, it takes a long time to make. So, congratulations to Henry Selick and his team of fellow animators. I still can't wrap my head around some of the stuff y'all do. I couldn't wrap my head around some of the stuff you did back when you did Nightmare Before Christmas. So there you go. And it centers around this girl named Kat, played by Lyric Ross, who at the beginning of the movie, and here's the thing, this is probably the first one of these kinds of movies, stop motion, that was rated PG-13. I'm like, you really want to make this movie PG-13? I mean, here's the thing. The reason why they got the PG-13 rating is clearly because they use the word Hell Maiden a lot. And that's what, you know, Kat's character is. She's a Hell Maiden. And they just say that word a lot. That's out. I mean, yeah, there's a few, you know, gory scenes, because again, this is horror. But for the most part, yeah, they only got the PG-13 rating because of them saying the word Hell Maiden. Personally, I know I mentioned the whole thing where I don't really curse or do anything like that, but I would like to think that Hell Maiden is one word altogether. I think it's one word. Hold on, let me look it up real fast. Do my, luckily I have my notes right here. Oh, it's 2 words. Okay. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, yeah, technically hell is a swear word. And I probably should stop saying that. But, I mean, the word was meant to be said with the term Hell Maiden. So, I'm going to keep that as is. If that offends you, though, you don't have to keep watching. I understand if that offends you. I'm sorry. If you don't have to keep watching. It's fine. I understand. But this movie gets really emotional. Like, really emotional. I mean, the movie starts out with Kat, losing her parents, all because she's driving home and they're going over this one bridge, and they fall off the bridge and they fall over because, she screamed and it distracted her dad, So naturally, that weighs on Kat's conscience a lot. And for 5 years, because she was 8 when this happened in the beginning of the movie, and fast forward now, she's 13. And man, she's been put through the ringer. Like a whole bunch of homes and everything. And, oh, man, it's awful. Meanwhile, in the demon world, let's say, Buffalo Belzer, who's voiced by Ving Rhames, runs what's called the Scream Fair. And his 2 sons, the titular Wendell and Wild, voiced by Key and Peele respectively, are trying to create their own sort of thing called the Dream Fair, but, their dad doesn't really let them do that. Although I have to say, Buffalo Belzer, voiced by Ving Rhames, more things need to have Ving Rhames in them. Thank you. I mean, this is Cobra Bubbles from Lilo and Stitch we're talking about here. He's awesome. Ving Rhames is awesome. And yes, I couldn't mention Ving Rhames without mentioning the fact that he's the one who says, Arby's, we have the meats. He clearly does that better than I can, but he is Ving Rhames. Of course he can. Ving Rhames is awesome. There we go. Actually, this whole cast was awesome. I mean, I just mentioned Ving Rhames, Key and Peele, Leah Cross is good, Angela Bassett, and James Hong. Like, James Hong is still doing work. The man who is in movies like Big Trouble in Little China. He's 93 years old and he's still being as entertaining as he is. Like, bro, that's awesome. Like, this is a really good movie. And there's definitely some scary. I mean, also in terms of, sheer imagery and stuff like that, I could see why it got its PG-13 rating as well. So, this may be a bit scary for little kids. I mean, older kids would probably find this fun, and I'm a 32-year-old man, so I didn't really have a problem with it myself. But I could definitely see that some little kids would probably watch this movie and be a little uneasy by it. And I get that. So, while I do recommend it, I understand that, again, it's horror. It's literally one of the most subjective forms of entertainment that there is. You're either going to find it entertaining or you're not. And I personally found this really entertaining. I thought it was funny. It definitely had elements of, scariness, I guess. That obviously was meant to be, fearful and stuff. And it has a lot of good messages about the importance of family being together. Because obviously one of the main plot points of this story is Wendell and Wild have Buffalo Belzer's hair cream, and that can actually raise the dead. So Kat does get to see her parents again. So, and the movie ends on a happy note, obviously, because when a Hellmaiden gets her powers, it could really be anything, but Kat's power is to see the future. And the movie ends with very beautiful images of like the town rebuilding itself that they're in and everything. And it's beautiful. This is a very beautiful movie to watch. I should probably emphasize, it's very beautiful. So it's definitely got that going for it. It gives the message of being able to forgive yourself, because remember, Kat still holds herself accountable for, what happened to her parents. And her parents even tell her, it was an accident. It's okay, it was an accident. And let's be honest, we all struggle with, being able to forgive yourself. I know I do. But just take your time and, be sure to talk to the right people, and, it makes life a little easier. So all in all, this was a very good movie. I highly recommend you watch this. If you're a fan of Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, watch this movie. Or any of the stop motion animation movies. Like, this will be a movie for you. And yeah, I should probably point out there is some CG, obviously to enhance a few scenes and make the camera work go a little bit faster. But it's not bad CGI. At least I don't think so. You know, movies like these are going to hold up for a long time. At least I think so. So, it's funny. It can be scary at times. It can be emotional at times. Teaches some very good lessons. And it's a lot of the actors in this movie playing to their strengths. Particularly, again, Key and Peele, who, you know, I have to say this. I mentioned how when Jordan Peele is working with Keegan-Michael Key, obviously he's hilarious. And when Jordan Peele is allowed to direct horror, he, again, is a veritable master of horror. This might be the very first time where both of Jordan Peele's greatest strengths of both comedy and horror are on full display here together. And I really think it works in tandem. So, if you're a fan of Key and Peele, of course I recommend you watch this movie. If you're a fan of Ving Rhames, yeah, watch this movie, even though he doesn't really, I mean, he is an important character, but obviously he's not the main focus. But again, it's Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames is awesome. So, yeah, this is a perfect movie to watch around Halloween. I might actually just watch it again for funsies. I mean, it's on Netflix. I can watch how many times. I can watch as many times as I want. So, yeah. So, Horseheads, congratulations on another great season. Sorry I won't be able to come to your next game. I have a wedding to go to. It's actually my cousin's wedding, which is all the way down in Houston. So I won't be able to go. As for those who stuck around for the MoReas of Wendell and Wild, highly recommend you watch it. It's good, it's funny, it's scary. It'll check all the boxes for you this Halloween. So, there you go. Like, favorite, share, hit the subscribe button, follow me on social platforms using YouTube. I'm very hilarious video for all of you guys watching Joe for them. Hopefully, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderul Saturday. And remember, because we're talking channels, we'll be here to let you know back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby. Put the blue hammer down. Until next time.